and welcome everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastic. I wanted to make this live stream titled People Who Think a Lot Just Think Thoughts. I thought it was, I saw this YouTube video the other day. It's very dramatic. And it had this like deep announcer voice, like the motivational voice that you hear on some videos. And it was saying, people who think a lot are only thinking thoughts. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I don't know why I found it so funny. But it kind of like took the, you know what? I just thought that maybe on another project of this, next time I do a project like this, I could just do well-known horror monsters. Or maybe come up with my own horror monsters, or like do something like this with like superheroes or something. That'd be kind of cool. But I think the average image only has something like 5 to 10 heads. This has 1, 2. So this is, I'll count these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a bunch of overlapping bodies in between. So 8 or 9 heads on a single painting. I don't know if that is a good number or a small number. We're here to get back to our painting. So, I'm going to use the same brush that I've been working with. And we're going to get into some of these details up here. So in this figure up here, there's supposed to be some details. So we're going to paint this up. And let's start with, so this is the center detail. This is going to be a really challenging piece because it's just going to be really challenging. So should we go up here, and we're going to do the crown right here. And it's going to take a lot of detail. So then this piece right here, I'm really just trying to get the shadows first. Really just want to try to get some shadows as we go along this this design. So this design needs to go into the centers of everything. So every center of a piece is going to have a triangle. And then center there, and then this is going to be a simple design here. So painting in some of the shadows is what we're working on right now. So I use this green just to basically create a shadow. You know what I found was interesting? So I decided to start using more green because I read that it might be hard to believe, but a lot of classical paintings, you know, I'm talking like paintings from like the 1900s, you wouldn't ever know this just by looking at them. But a lot of classical paintings, and I'm not saying this is how I'm trying to paint, but they used green as the color that's meant to go underneath. So if you're not familiar with painting, you know, this all might be totally new to you completely, but what artists typically do when they're oil painting is they'll have like a color, a main color that creates the foundation of what's underneath. It's called an underpainting. And that kind of helps to establish all the main areas and colors and values and shadows and lights and all that. And you know, it also establishes to an extent what you're gonna see that kind of like appears underneath, right? So if you use like a red underpainting, a red painting underneath, depending on how thick you paint above it, you can see some of the red shining through. Now, you know what I would always thought is I would use a color like red, maybe, you know, a light purple or something. But a lot of classical painters, classical artists from like, you know, some of the early days, they would use a red or they would use a green. And I found that really interesting because I would have never guessed that green was like, you can't, because you don't really see the green. You don't really notice it until, you know, you just don't notice it unless you're like studying art really closely. It's just not something you really notice. So I found that really interesting about artwork is that a lot of green is heavily used. So I was actually surprised by that. But yes, that was a surprise to me. And here we go, just using green to like paint in some dark areas just to create some separation between our figures. And then eventually, you know, I'll go into this to build up some more of the colors. But yeah, honestly, I haven't even decided on my colors yet, to be truthful. Yeah, I still haven't even decided on the colors. Um, yeah, so I'm basically kind of winging it right now. Well, not winging it right now. Like at this very moment, I have a very specific task at hand, and that's to get this. That's to get this design going. These shadows separated, but I haven't figured out the full color palette that I'm going to use yet. So just sharing there. So it looks like this mouth might be hard to fix up. Oh, I see what I did. So the reason why is because this lip kind of goes like that. All right, that's okay. And then we're gonna go like so, right up to the bottom, and we're gonna go into here. So we're just creating some separate zones of color here. And we're gonna go into here. Get some more paint. I probably should have been using some mineral spirits this whole time to keep the paint nice and thin so that it flows easy. Yes, see? See what happens when you think while you're painting instead of just kind of going through it without thinking? You come up with solutions to problems. So I totally have not been thinning out my paint, which can be very helpful to create a more, you know, to start to round out some of these edges and to create something like more painterly to look at. And let's see, so we got that. We're gonna go into here. This is gonna be a nice dark area. You can see it's kind of like see-through. This green here. That's what I should have been doing from the beginning here. And then what we're just gonna have these little separate, these little rifts here. So let's see how we're gonna do this. We're gonna go, this is quite a detailed piece. I don't think I'm going to go through all that detail. But I will start to establish some of the minor details of this crown here. And then we're going to go right up here. Let's see. So this is going to go. So I don't really do decorative work, so this is a bit of a challenge for me, which is great. I don't do decorative work in a sense that this is a highly decorated crown, and I've never actually done something like this where the crown is incredibly decorated. I usually don't, this isn't really my thing. But it's always good to challenge yourself to do things that are out of your comfort zone. So right now, all I'm doing is establishing the little areas where I will need to decorate, and from there we're gonna figure out, how I'm gonna put them in, which is just one detail at a time. So here we go. You know what I think I could do? So this needs to be like that, and then this is gonna come down right into there, and then this is gonna be multiple pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just gonna come around. No, I might just have to like kind of wing it. We'll see. We'll see. So that has 4 details. 1, 2. Just trying to get the general idea, because once I start working on this more detailed, I have an idea of where things are going to be. And you know what? Maybe I might even scrap these details for something totally different. So I think historically, the artists who would paint things, so basically, artists historically would have like a studio, right? The masters would have like their own little farm for creating artwork. And along in that farm, they would have like assistants that would do all the detail work, like stuff like this. But the main artist would basically have the majority. They would put their name on it, and they would have the majority of the. They would come up with overall design, but then all the assistants would come do all the work. Now, I'm not criticizing any of that in any way, but I do say that to say this is, if you ever look at some incredibly fine detailed pieces where like every little decorative piece is designed, especially incredibly detailed ones, sometimes it's by an apprentice artist, not necessarily the artists themselves, which I found very fascinating, because you would think that the main artist would want to do those things, but they don't, because it's very tedious, and who wants to do tedious stuff? Not I. So here we go. We're going to go down here, and we're going to come around to the nose. This is going to be the nose, like right here. We're going to round out the nose, and then we're going to go up. Let's go bring this around here. And then round out the face with some shadow here. Actually, there needs to be shadow all around. This shadow needs to be much lighter. Needs to be not as saturated, I guess would be the better word. And honestly, it's really like, there's like all this other detail here too, so I'm gonna have to play with that. There's this really interesting detail that's just like horizontal pieces separated into various, separated by light, and it's very impressionist. So let's see. All right, we got that. We got that. Where am I gonna fit this mustache here? So this mustache should probably come right around here. Let's design out this mustache. There we go. And then how can we start to form this a little better? Ah, here we go. So this needs a nice dark shadow. So we're gonna get a nice dark shadow right into here. So it should end right around here. And we're gonna go around in a circle, like, not a circle, what is this shape? Not a circle, like an oval. And that's a nice dark shadow. And here we go. We're gonna go right across like so. I'm gonna come down. Here I need kittens. That's because we are fostering some kittens right now. So if you happen to be in the Los Angeles area, you have an opportunity to adopt some wonderfully young kittens that were dropped off at the local animal shelter. And they were just dropped off. And that's not how you're supposed to do things. You're supposed to, like, you know, talk to the animal shelter and get your animals approved, but they didn't do that. I don't know why. I'm sure I can figure out why someone would do that, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. So there was 8 kittens that needed to be fostered, and they got it done. What an amazing animal shelter. They got it done in like one day. Just a couple hours, they were able to get 8 kittens foster homes. Amazing, amazing team. But also, you know, it's a community, right? It's a community. It takes a community to do that. A community of people who love animals, cats specifically, and are willing to take them in and even have the time to. You know, I don't necessarily know. Like, I'm sure some people simply don't have the time to. And fortunately, I do. But not everyone does. So anyway, painting in shadow detail. This one's definitely going to be more detailed as we continue. But for now, yeah, this is going to be really, really challenging. I have no clue how I'm going to do these, honestly, these sections, because they're really hard. I am not used to doing this type of detail. But you know what? Maybe I'll never do it again. Maybe I'll do it for just this one piece and never again. Or maybe I will become addicted to creating detailed designs. Or I don't know. A lot of things can happen in 24 hours. Like right now, it's just blobs. And not only that, but there's like brown around it, so it kind of like messes with the design a bit. But I'll figure it out. That's the beautiful thing about painting, is you can always figure it out. You can always figure something out. Like right now, this is just the first. Oh, sorry, kitten. Hey, come here. Come here. Don't go that way. Go. Go, 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 go. Go the other way. Go. Go. All right, so here we go. I don't like the kittens to be by my feet when I'm painting, because obviously sometimes you can step on them. You know, they're just so quiet, and they can slink out of nowhere. Like just little, I don't even know what they are. Just little felines just popping up out of nowhere. That's what they do. So I feel like this needs a bit more roundness. And all right, well, this is the very first eye. We're gonna have some time to manipulate this, change it. It'll probably go through plenty of changes over time, But for now, this is a good start. This is a very good start. It's probably going to go through a bunch more changes, but you know, I'm actually happy with how the top of the head looks right now, even though it's kind of like wacky and crazy and hard to tell. So I think we did okay. There's just like so many different textures on this bust, this head, this sculpture of a head that we'll have to play with. And some of the other challenge. So I didn't plan my colors ahead of time, and I used like a red outline, which, you know, is really going to darken some of the spaces. So I'm going to have to paint over this probably multiple times. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out once we get there. But but this is a challenge of doing your sketch totally with paint versus just drawing it out with pencil. Because if I just drew out with pencil, it would just be a really thin line, and I could paint exactly right up to the thin line, and it would be that. But the challenge with that is, you know, when you do a pencil sketch, you basically have to be perfect. You know, like, you got to be perfect. It takes a little bit more time, but you can paint right up to the line, and you don't have to worry. But then, you know, painting like this, you have to spend more time working through some of the challenges that you create for yourself. So here we go. We're going to do this side of the head now. I don't know why I moved this thing. I really don't need to. I can just keep it here. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck happened here. What is going on here? This is quite the anomaly here. So I guess what I was planning is I'm going to paint over this section at some point, is what I was thinking. Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is here, something's going to happen. Something's got to give. Okay, and here we go. Oh, wait. So this is going to come down, but it's also going to come down to right there. What's going on there? That needs to end above, which means this is a shadow that's going to come down right here. And let's see, we're going to bring a shadow into here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to say something. I tend to talk a lot. So I don't normally talk a lot in person. It's not what I do. But for the sake of these live streams, I find that, especially if I use other platforms, like I was live streaming on TikTok for a little while, which I've since stopped. These are exclusively YouTube live streams now, but TikTok's like a weird streaming platform. Like, if you don't talk on TikTok, you get like a violation. They like, you get like in trouble if you don't talk. You get in trouble by the platform, you get reported, and you get a violation, and they say like, hey, you know, we saw that you were quiet, and we saw that you're not interacting, so we don't think your live stream should be on. And they basically get a violation, and then, you know, I guess they don't push you out to people. Because like what I would do is I would paint like this. I would just literally just have my hand here and just painting, and I wouldn't say anything because I'd be so focused painting. But then I would get all these reports. Like, I guess people would report me. They would say that I was a bot. Like, I was kind of, that basically this is like a pre-recorded thing, and I kind of was just streaming it on TikTok somehow, which I'm not, believe it or not. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why me and TikTok do not get along. TikTok and I do not get along. Maybe it's for the better. I don't know. But I need to wet this brush again so that I can keep the paint thin so that it becomes more easily workable. Oop, a little too much there, huh? Yes. When the paint is workable, you can often forget just how dense it can get. So, or how thick and saturated it can look. And you know what's funny? I have made this nose a little too big. I only wanted to do half, but this nose is huge now. So anyway, let's go like this. This headpiece going around. Call it a crown, not a headpiece. We'll use some appropriate termage, verbiage. And we want this piece to come down like so. We're going to give the eyebrow some definition here. And then we're going to come across on the inside of the eye. Give some definition there. Round it out a bit. And then come up with another bottom of the eye texture here. And there we go. Something to add more detail there. Let's keep this going. So we're going to keep this moving. We have this section right here. We're going to go up and around. So up. Up and around. This is pretty much dark. So I'm just going to fill this whole space with this green here. Much like I did with the other one. And then what we have, look at this crown. Look how these crowns are going to look pretty funky, but that's all right. I do not normally draw crowns. So I think I was fixing this, and that's why it got so funky. So I guess I could establish right now some of the details. So this is going to go like that. So 1, 2, and one big leaf. I think there's probably a name for this design. I just don't know it. Some kind of like, some type of design name. This is the thing, so this should be... These look like golden leaves in a way. Is the type of design. I don't know if anyone can help me out here, what the names of these designs are. But expect no help. No one will save you. No one will save you. So let's do this. We got this. And what's great is right now I can kind of just figure things out, right? I can start to make stuff up. Can make things up. Isn't that great? So this needs to be a little bit lower than that. There we go. And then our next piece here, we're gonna bring this in, and it's gonna be even lower. No, it's gonna be higher. So I've actually honestly never painted at like designs like these before. I kind of avoid them because I'm not really into like decorative work. Plus it's kind of tedious. And honestly, I don't think the results are really that that positive. I could be wrong though. I've been wrong before. So that's a little high. So we will have to lower that, but you know, overall, we've got the idea. So this is going to come up right around here. Yeah, so this is definitely too high, but that's okay. We're gonna figure this out. And then let's see, 1, 2, 3. Now we need a smaller one. This is gonna take place like right there. And then we got one more. Should be even lower than this one. And then there's another one like right around the corner. And then one more big one. All right, well, anyway, this guy's gonna have a flatter head. Good thing I'm not actually painting for a king or queen, because they would probably be very unhappy with the shape of their head. So we're gonna go, let's see, we gotta go lines all the way across, so just really fine lines. I'm just getting into detail, some of the detail now. I'm not painting it totally thoroughly right now, but just enough to get the idea so that later I have like a placeholder, you know, what you could do, or I could have done, is do this totally from the sketch and then paint each, you know, paint directly on a sketch, which is kind of what I'm doing, but like with a pencil sketch is a little different. You know, when you're working with like from pencil, there's some details that you can include that make it easier to just paint over. But you know what? I can't really explain why I choose to do all of the work totally with the brush. Like, you know, there is something to be said about multimedia artists, right? But I'm not really multimedia. I'm like single media, which may or may not be a good thing. You know, sometimes it's good to have a total, complete focus on one idea, and then sometimes it's good to be multi-talented, multi-taskable. So anyway, let's see. So we're gonna go with this face, and we're gonna go down. This nose is gonna come in. So I'm just using these brush strokes just for effect, because this is a really interesting way that the beard was designed, the beard of this person. And I'm just looking to try to capture the effect of it, not necessarily use this as the final painting guide. And I have way more lines here than are necessary. But there's an effect I'm going for rather than a specific idea or specific look. There's an effect rather than an actual like the look itself. Ah, here we go. So I was working on this and I didn't even get very far. So let me get back to this piece. back to this head right here. I was starting to get tired. I was starting to get tired when I was working on this piece earlier. And a tired artist can only be a good artist if the art that they're trying to make is supposed to be made when they're tired. So here we go. I'll paint right down there. Get this shadow nice and deep. Nope, that probably didn't need that much shadow. But here we go. We're gonna go paint down like that. And here we go. What's this? Oh yeah, okay, I remember what that was. So we're gonna go down in here and then paint that like that. And same thing, we are doing this head like a dozen times. So this head needs to kind of, need to fix the shape on this, right? Make some decisions. Take some decisive action. That's one thing that can be scary about painting is when you reach a phase, especially when you're using this way of sketching out. Because like if you sketch out with pencil, you can pretty much get everything you need right from the get-go. But if you try to do it like this, sometimes you have to like make certain decisions exactly about like what the painting is going to look like. Which either you have to maintain your flexibility or you have to do a lot of fixing. So it all depends on what you're going for, but making a decision, trying to establish like what exactly is gonna be here. So when you look at these lines compared to like pencil lines, obviously these are very thick, and unfortunately, when you sketch with a thick brush, you have this underlying element of having to decide, am I going to paint to the outside of that line or the inside? So there's like a lot of little decisions like that, and it can make a big difference because just, if you ever paint the face, just a tiny change. If you ever seen a woman's eyebrows, or if you've ever had eyebrows done yourself, like 2 millimeters of being off on an eyebrow can make a whole difference on I guess men can do eyebrows too, or whatever, any whatever identification. Anybody can get the eyebrows done, but the main idea that I'm trying to say is that if you've ever had that experience, or if you can imagine that experience, maybe when I was a kid, I shaved off like pretty much the entire center. I had like eyebrows that were like far in because I had shaved them off accidentally. Well, I guess it wasn't really accident. I was just like, for whatever reason, I like shaved my eyebrows in a way where it was like up to here. It was hilarious. It was very embarrassing, but you think that you do that for like millimeters, or even like a little millimeter can make a whole difference on somebody's face, and just something to think about, something amusing to think about, right? So we're going to need a lot of work here, but we shall figure it out, as we always do. So I'm thinning the paint so that it becomes nice and easy to work with. I feel like in this section I can do a better job of spreading it. See, I don't know if you could tell, but just by simply adding this liquid, don't drink it, it's not drinkable. When I say liquid, it's a chemical, but it's called mineral spirits by Gamsol. And basically, like, you could tell that it becomes so much easier to fill this space with it compared to when I was trying to do it without it. It just like makes all the difference in the world, because it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Alright. So, anyway. I'm going to go with this section right here. And then we're going to go down. Paint like right there, right there. You know what I wonder is what it's like to be a dad. Like a dad who's actually considered cool, like I don't know, like a rapper or a I don't know, a rapper or a rock star or a movie star or like you know, a dad who's responsible for like fashion and design. And I wonder what it's like to have your kids think you're not cool. If that's even possible, right? I guess if your dad if you're a cool parent, something's gonna show. Something's gonna manifest itself. But I decided I need to put on some music in my ears as I go about this. No device connected. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What are we going to listen to? Throw on some. Let's throw this on. Oh no, I don't have much battery left. All right. Okay, let me finish up this section right here. So we're gonna go. My goal here is basically just to get some of the details done. Just basic detail, basic organization of the elements that are going to be here. And just remembering that even these were handmade, hand constructed. So there are some imperfections. So this shadow and we're going to go down. All right, and just building this up piece by piece. Let me get this mustache, establish this mouth and this mustache a little better now that I have a nice chunk of wet paint here. It's going to go down like so, and it's going to come around and pop up around the corners like that. There we go. Nice little mustache. let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to design this area a little bit differently than the other ones. Go in a zigzag pattern just to have a different design. And actually, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one great thing is we're going to paint over this totally, like completely paint over this. But right now I'm just really establishing a couple like major areas that are going to look a little different than the rest. So just helps to make plans. But you know what? I kind of got lazy on this head, I think. Because, yeah, I did get kind of lazy. So, if I look at this head, there's a lot more detail that needs to be done. This area, I'm going to go down. Get some more of those mineral spirits. Because I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's this total difference between when I use mineral spirits and when I'm just taking paint directly off the canvas and just painting. It's totally different. Has a totally different effect. And should curve around the chin area. And honestly, this is probably what I should have been doing, is constantly getting mineral spirits the entire painting. So hopefully it doesn't affect the end result too much. The fact that, you know, I really only used it. I guess I could just kind of go in here. Yeah. You know what am I saying? I could just go in here with it and fix some of it up. There we go. Make it nice and dark. Make it nice and saturated with our shadow. There we go. That's the goal. Saturation. Saturation of color. I'm going to do that again, actually. I'm going to do this again with this section right here. And that's probably the main area that really needs it. The other parts we could just work over at some point. What is this empty space? It's unacceptable. Oh, let me see. I think hopefully there was a plan there. There was a plan. That's good. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Now let's go for there. And then we got one more head right up here. Let's do this last head. And then we're gonna go into this with some lights and highlights. I'm gonna go in with the highlight. That's the goal, but well, let's see how it looks this way. Go like this. So, oh, here we go. This head right here. This eye feels so small. What did I do? Oops. That's not something you want to hear, right? Oops. So here we go. Make sure we get some of the shadow. And here we go. So building up that detail zone. And we're gonna go with this mustache. And here we go. So that's okay. This is a little thick. I want to learn Italian just so I could sing opera in the shower. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, I think it'd be worth it. Racconter partiro. All right, and here we go. We're bringing this down. Comer. Comer. What does comer mean in Italian? Partiro. So this one thing that's difficult about this crown is that it's the crown. If you don't have the perspective just right as it curves around, kind of gets these issues. All right, and here we go. Let's go. By the way, I don't usually listen to music when I'm actually painting, but I gotta say, it is actually quite helpful because I spend so much time live streaming that I'm not allowed to listen to music. But then I figured out I started putting in headphones. Can you believe that? Headphones? Who would have thought that you can use headphones while you're painting? Not me, obviously. All right. Whoo-wee! So, where do we go from here? Let's see what else we could do. Some parts we could tighten up, maybe. Ooh, excuse me. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to use green for this entire thing. And I think I would use a bigger brush for, let's clean this off. Okay, brush cleaned. So this is actually I used a Princeton brush. This was actually originally had a really thin point, but since it has been used, the point has kind of filtered. So we're using a smaller brush. But let's go. Now's the time to start planning colors. And I'm thinking that anything that is not part of a body or a head, anything that is like an object, like the we're gonna create a nice foundation of blue. I'm about to share something really cute, by the way, people, for the couple people that are in here. I gotta show you this. The cutest thing you will see tonight. Cutest thing you will see tonight. This little guy. This young munchkin right here just... I think if I was to hold him... If I were to just hold him for like the next 5 minutes and keep my mouth shut, he would basically fall asleep. Oh, now you saw a fly. But this little sleepy guy would probably fall asleep on camera. Look, he's ready to fall asleep, this dude. If I just keep my mouth shut for next 3 minutes. This little dude. Yes. Sleep, handsome boy. This guy. One thing about mama kittens is they can't rock their babies. How sad is that? I'm gonna do this for a minute or two before I put him somewhere. I'll have to put him down because I got to keep painting, but this guy is a sleeper. He sleeps in your arm. It's the cutest thing. He's going to be such a lazy cat when he gets older because you could tell, like, if you grab him by the scruff, he'll basically fall asleep in like 5 seconds. Instead of like being paralyzed, he just falls asleep when you grab him by the scruff. I feel bad having to put him down in a minute, but he'll live. Okay. All right, that's enough, little guy. I'm gonna have to put you somewhere. Okie dokie. Let's get back, people. Okie dokie. Probably do some painting for another half hour or an hour. My goal is right now is to create a separation of some of the lighter elements of the painting. I'm trying to think what kind of color I want to use. I want to use so this is cerulean blue phthalo. I'm thinking I'm going to use this with some white. For some of our spaces. That's a good brush for this. All right, so we're gonna grab this white here. We're gonna place it with our blue, mix in some of our green, and we're gonna create our own color. And here we go. I want to get more mineral spirits, thin out this paint a bit. Get this paint nice and thin. We're going to cover some area with it. So this section right here, nice thin blue. So we're going to start covering larger and larger areas as we go about this. And honestly, I don't think this is going to be the most effective brush because it's so like wide spread out. But I might have some uses for it on some areas, like right here. I like how it spreads, but I don't like how it's not a consistent. I can't really do detail with it because I can't really do tight corners because it'll get, it'll kind of like grab other pieces unexpectedly. Here we go, and then this needs to also go up, so and this just carries so much paint along with it. The heck is this? Oh, that's hair. All right, let's see. I'm gonna switch my brush up in a minute, but just want to make sure that I get some of the spaces up right here. Maybe, I think this would be a good color for this. No, all honestly, I think anybody who wants to pick up oil painting totally should. It's not that, complicated. Kind of just gotta feel it out and just build color. Just realize that you can build colors on top of colors. How like crazy does that sound, right? Like once this dries, I could paint another layer on top of it, and it kind of mixes the blue and the red, the green, and everything all together. And There's all sorts of different techniques you could apply, but this is. I wish I had more. There's one more area that I want to do. Ah, yes. Okay, here we go. Actually, let me flip it this way. But this guy needs some of this too. I really just want to use up. Oh wait, so this is actually the color of his neck, but I was thinking it's actually not part of its neck. It's like a base. But this is, they did make this part of the guy's neck. But you know what? That's okay. We can work around it later. As I said, I really only wanted this to be parts of things that are not like a body part. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. We will modify and adapt. If you're adaptable, you can paint. I don't know how much more. Maybe I will use this blue color for more than just that. I'm done with this brush though. This brush is not going to do me any good. And you know what? What brush are we going to use? What brush should we use here? What would be a good brush? Thank goodness I will be getting some new brushes soon. I did order some fresh brushes, but we need a brush that's like thick, but not too thick. And I'm going to go for the hair. I want to start blocking in some of the hair. I don't really want to use brown. Should I use brown or black? Like, I don't like to use like the basic, simple, easy colors. Or maybe, how should the hair? I might end up redecorating this crown color to a red. I like the idea of a red crown. But before we start on that, you know what? Let me get back to the smaller brush here. Oh, you know what would be a great brush for this? This one. This is a Velvet Touch. I think this is by Princeton Velvet Touch. It's a great, I think it's a synthetic fiber. And although it doesn't look like right now, because I haven't been cleaning them as good, it's done a good job of lasting through lots and lots of paint sessions, and I'm very rough with my brushes. I'm very rough with my brushes in the sense that I use lots of mineral spirits, I use lots of oil, I like roughly rub them on spaces, so see. I'm gonna go with. I want to go with. Go with the yellow. And then we're going to bring in some white. And then so you're about to find out a nifty little tool that can get you so much extra paint out of your paint tubes. If I can find one that's not being used. Which, funny enough, I cannot. I must lose them, or the kittens are stealing them. Basically, it's these little things right here. For whatever reason, I can't find one right now. But these little paint tubes are designed to stick into your thing, and you twist it. But for whatever reason, I can't find one. Usually, I've got at least like a few of them sitting around. But anyway, so it goes. So we're going to grab our white and we're going to lighten our yellow. We're going to create a very desaturated. Oh. Red is such a powerful color. No matter what happens, if you ever use red, it just overpowers everything. So let's see. We're going to go into this piece. These little figurines here. And let's see. Let's just go into this. We're going to grab. Just going to go into this. Let's do. I'm gonna mix this with hints of like white. And here we go. So this pink is going to allow us to start forming some shapes. Why is my phone music acting up? And this one, I'm going to have a slightly different color. I think a lot of this is going to be in shadow, so I'm not going to mess around too much more with this area. There needs to be an arm somewhere. Where's the arm coming? Oh, no arm, huh? Okay, whatever. Let that play out then. All right, so there's that. There's these two figures. We're gonna put that into put this area into shadow at some point, so we're not gonna mess with that. But actually, this. The breast needs color. And I'm trying to think of what else. You know what? I think I'm gonna use warm feminine colors, but cool masculine, cool to capture the masculine, red, yellow, orange to capture the feminine, and that's how we're gonna make differences. It's still a mix between the two that we're gonna have. So we're gonna go right into here. And I'm really just using these this interesting brush effect just to add some interest into this. Because if you're gonna paint physically as opposed to digitally, you might as well do it differently. Because you know, when you paint digitally, what most people talk about that, you know, feels missing is this idea that you know, you're literally missing the effect of a brush. Now, you know, there's a lot of digital brushes that people have made that they've invented to like create a certain feel and to give you to mimic the effect of a brush, but you know, it's really hard to literally just to mimic the physics of an actual true to life brush, no matter how hard you try. It's not an easy endeavor. Something fall? I don't know. And then even though this is a little bit, this face is a little off, I will do some things later to modify and adjust it, but for now, just laying down the main colors. That's actually kind of a cool effect. It has like the brighter outside area. So as I build these colors up, I'm just applying different shades throughout and whatnot. And I'll probably figure something out to do with the when I have the green in there beforehand, that kind of just gives me an opportunity to generate this differing shadow space versus the light area. So for this part, really just establishing some color zones. At some point, I'm probably gonna have to go into this even deeper with these colors. But you know what? Still filling out these colors. There are some artists who know exactly what color they're gonna use, and you know they got it all planned out, and everything's just perfect. But for me, my palette's an open palette. Oh, is the smoke alarm going off? My bad. I'm actually, dude. I think it like stops and starts like all the time. I don't know. It does it like randomly, and I have changed the battery, but for whatever reason, it just likes to go off. But I'm not surprised. No, by the way, I also have a bird. There's a bird that chirps a lot, so it could be the bird as well. But as you can see, I have headphones, and I can't really. Yeah, so I also have headphones in right now, so I don't know if it's the bird or the what's it called again? The fire alarm. Hilarious. Didn't know that it was even making noises. So here we go. I got, how many of these heads I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like this face. It is a beautiful face. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's an eye. It's an eye somewhere. I gotta find it. Where did I put that eye? Here's one eye. Gotta find the other version of this eye. There's a mouth right here. heck did I put that eye? I found my love in Portofino. All right, here we go. So here's one of the eyes. These community people tend to become desensitized of the smoke alarm. Yeah. But again, I swear, it might just be my parrot. Hide a Deadpool? Huh. You know what? I would do it. I'll throw a Deadpool in here. Here, let me see. Let me make sure I could find a spot for him first, though. Let me see. Trying to find a spot. Yeah, let's do this. Where should I put it? I'm gonna put it on one of their foreheads. Little Deadpool right in the center of this guy's forehead. Let's do it. So I'm gonna paint it on, and I do still expect you to do the $5 because I can just paint over later, but let's do it. Let's do a small Deadpool. All right, I'm trying to find a good. We'll give him a blood red. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it on this guy's forehead because he's kind of. I don't want it to be too distracting. But I'm also not gonna overpaint the Deadpool. I'm just gonna kind of. If you find me a contributor, what do you mean? I'm not even gonna hide him. I'm just gonna make him pretty obvious. Oh, so you said if I had $5. Wow. All right. Well, you got me there. I mean, if you can find somebody, great. If not, I'll probably have to paint over them later in the future. But hey, I guess I should read the fine print, right? But I actually like that idea. Okay. And now, let's go with you can take pride in the fact that you tricked the artist by getting him to not read the fine print. So here we go. Let's go. How would we do his face? Actually, no, I need a all right, buddy. How do we do this? Let's see. Come on now, you got $5, dude. All right. So anyway, there we go. There's Deadpool. And here we go. We're going to mix that in here with our pink. And let's see. Excuse me. That was quite the burp, eh? All right. What are we going to do with this pink? We're going to lay it down on... All right, so let's continue on. And let's see. So we're going to go with this yellow eye right in here. And let's go. And then there's going to be there's the shadow up here. Haha. All right, so here we go. And then we're going to go down into here. Go paint down. About that, still don't look that right, but I mean, there's a lot wrong with that section. But anyway, we can work with it as we go. But let's figure out the rest of these heads, shall we? All right, and here we go. We'll go with this pink, and we're gonna go into this little face right here. Okay, so working on these other details as we go in here. And let's do this. We're gonna go right into here. All right, and here we go. Can't tell what the heck. Okay, so I could probably paint around that, I think. Huh. let's go up like so. We're gonna go here. Just continue building these colors in. And let's go like so. And I'm constantly looking back here, not really to see the chat, but more so to see, to see what it looks like on camera, cause make all the difference. I guess that's where everybody's posting, right? Is pretty much on camera. Is where most people see work. Not in person, but on camera. And not in person, but on camera. So here we go. And this area is going to be mostly in shadow, but not like a deep shadow, just a light shadow here. And we're gonna go fill in most of these faces first. And here we go. So some of the challenges that I have right now is working into the shadows. But using a very brushy effect, and when I say brushy, I mean like, you know, lots of brush strokes to create these details as opposed to just one flat color detail. And I think what this does is creates like a very colorful, interesting, vibrant painting that you can't necessarily do if you just do it the regular way of if you just paint regularly. And I guess this area is in shadow too, so we're gonna go ahead and just move right on in. We're gonna move right on into this space here and build into our character. All right, and here we go. And here we go. All right, and what is this? Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go for some more of this pink right here. All right, and then okay. And here we go. Just gonna keep building this up. And here we go. And I want to soften some of these corners here. And I think this is okay for now. For now, let's see. We get some of this paint off and add some more. Saturate this pink a bit better. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean off this brush and we're going to go for the yellow on this face. I gotta mute this white a bit. It's a little bit too white or too yellow. Am I saying white? That is yellow. That is yellow, not white. Let's get a little bit of pink into it. Why not? going to go... And just building. So this painting style takes a lot of brush work, but I think it comes with some really good results. Some really good results. And we're going to go up into here, paint down. And we're going to bring in some of this green with the shadow. Strangers in the night. Yeah, I guess you could call that what these figures are, strangers in the night. I haven't even come up with a name yet. So here we go. Let's actually add some of this color into her, and add a little bit of this color into her. Just to get I guess this will be good down here. What is this? Okay. Where are we with this piece? What is this piece? Ah, we could be right here. Right here needs some work. Oh, I didn't know the name of the song. Yes, I'm just going by whatever plays in my ear. All right. You know what's interesting about painting with this is sometimes it's nice when the paint's still wet. Sometimes it's not. And this is one of those times when I kind of want the paint to stay wet for at least a day or two as I paint. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna hold up, unfortunately. So I'm almost done for the night. I'm gonna pack this in the next like, I don't know, 10 minutes. For those of you that did stop by, you have my gratitude. And let's see. Let's go with the hair on these two. But I don't know whether I want a brown. Like, why would I go with just the standard color? That's so boring. I still have so much paint on this. I don't want to just let it go. Can't just let this paint. It must go on a canvas. Here's the problem with what I did with this project is usually I leave open space. Usually I leave a lot of negative space, which means, there's just empty space. But I made this painting one where I had to fill every single part of it, which means I don't have the same flexibility to just paint wherever, whenever. By the wise words of Shakira, I don't have that opportunity. go. Maybe we could just. I'm gonna go through these. I don't even know what the heck this is. What is this? Oh, that's a face. Okay. What else do we need to do here? Use up the rest of this paint. Guess this one doesn't have any shadows. I think that's one of my toxic painting qualities is that I love just getting the paint off of the brush. That I will go into spaces that have already been painted and I'll go in with the brush just to put the paint onto the canvas. Which can sometimes have positive results or sometimes have negative results. And you know what? The shape of this forehead needs a bit of a roundness to it. All right, that's enough messing around for now. I'm gonna pack up the brush for the night. It's been got a good couple hours. And any man locked in Shakira's class should always be happy. Yeah, right on. There we go. All right, so gotten quite some stuff done. Got to enjoy. So today, you're experiencing something very unique today, in the sense that it's the first time that I can remember that I've listened to music, like an entire painting session. I don't usually do it, so I feel like there's an effect that changes the way I paint. Now, I'm not saying I've never listened to music while I've painted or streamed or drawn, but I don't usually listen to it as long. Like I have live streams where I've played music for like 1 or 2 songs. But I think it's affecting the way I work, for sure. So, Comedy Flu, thanks for stopping by. And anybody else who has chosen to remain anonymous, thank you for stopping by. And those of you popping in the future, may your day be a great one. So we're gonna close up this palette thing here. Want the paints to stay wet and everything, and we're finally moving along. Spent so much time drawing this out, and you know what? There was an ugly phase, and I think we're still getting through all these other phases, and we still got a lot to do. I'm thinking at least another 10, 20 hours, but it'll be a good one, 10 or 20 hours, maybe longer, but we'll see. Maybe not much longer. We don't know. You never know. Sometimes inspiration just hits and you just move like nothing. But take care, everybody.